All right, if you've been in the market for a golf rangefinder under $250, yet is still full featured and will do everything you need it to do, there's a good chance you've come across one of two products, the Precision Pro NX9 or the Blue Tees Series 3 Max. Both of these are very similar rangefinders. They're both very capable and they're both right around the same price. So if you've been trying to decide, should you buy the Precision Pro? Should you buy the Blue Tees? Should you buy something else? That's what I'm here to help you with in today's video. Let's do it. All right, before we get into it, I want to be upfront about one thing, something you probably could have guessed, but I want to be straightforward with you. If you decide to buy either of these, I will get a commission if you use my coupon code or if you click one of the links below. You doing that is helpful for me. It allows me to continue making these videos. And to be perfectly honest, I get a similar commission regardless of which one of these you buy, so I don't really care which one you choose. And if you decide one of these isn't for you, that's great too. My whole goal here at Breaking 80 is to help you find the right products for you. And if I can make a small commission for helping you do that, that's great. But if I can't, that's cool too. So honestly, when it comes to golf rangefinders, I probably get asked about, you could throw the Precision Pro NX10 in there, but I probably get asked about these the most because they essentially have all the features you're going to find on more expensive rangefinders, except they're actually affordable. And when you're comparing these two specifically, when you look at a spec sheet, they're almost identical. So it can be really tough to know which one you should buy. Another thing I kind of want to address up front, just because I think it's kind of funny and it might sway some of you and it probably shouldn't. Look, to be clear, I'm friends with a lot of people on both of these teams. I really like the people behind both of these companies, but Precision Pro, they put up a chart on the NX9 that's basically a comparison between these two products. And all of the things that matter, all the real features, they both have them. Which I think is kind of interesting. But the things that they added were honest pricing. Precision Pro, honest pricing, Blue Tees not. Look, I never really know what the exact price of both of these products are. I feel like both of them, they're kind of, doing some fake MSRP or whatever, but they're always actually on sale. I feel like Blue Tees maybe does that a little bit more, but I haven't also been fully able to understand what the price of the NX9 is. I think they might have actually changed the price recently, so it could have just been me not understanding what's going on. But all that to say, yeah, they're all trying to market their products the best they can. A couple other things you're going to find on there. The Precision Pro has a 90-day return policy. That is excellent. But the Blue Tees only has a 60-day return policy. Honestly, if you can't figure out if you like a product in 60 days, then I don't know what to tell you, but both are pretty generous and both are great. The one I think is the funniest is Precision Pro is accurate up to 999 yards, whereas the Blue Tees is only 900 yards. Yeah, that's gonna be a deal breaker for a lot of us because we all, on a regular basis, need to know where the flag is 900 yards away. Come on. Nobody needs to know if a flag is 900 yards away. Also, the one other thing I saw on that is free battery replacement. That's great. It's awesome that Precision Pro does free battery replacement for life. When the battery dies, you hit them up, they send you a new battery. I think that's super cool. But also, the last Blue Tees rangefinder I got, it shipped with 3 batteries. So honestly, by the time I go through 3 batteries, I'm buying a new rangefinder. That is going to last you plenty of time. So all that to say, I just saw that. I thought that was kind of funny. Precision Pro, I love you guys, but I had to call that out because it was, I don't think it was necessary. So that being said, what are the differences between these two devices and which one's right for you? Let's figure it out. So first off, let's just talk about all the things these have in common. They both have built-in magnets, so you can stick it to a cart and most likely lose it because you forgot it there at some point, but it's a nice feature if you ride in a cart. They both have 6x magnification. They're both good for hundreds and hundreds of yards, like I pointed out. They both have a slope mode, so you can get slope-adjusted distances for both of them. All things being equal, these are very similar products. And so if you're looking for a rangefinder under 250 bucks that's accurate, that's easy to use, that's going to do a lot of things for you, either of these are going to be great. All right, also when you open these up, you'll find that both of them have very nice cases. The Precision Pro has kind of your standard canvas rangefinder case. It's not quite as nice as the one that comes on the Precision Pro NX10. And the Blue Tees is actually a very nice kind of sleek black case with a magnet top here. I will find the magnet on this is not very strong. So if you're used to basically not zipping up your rangefinder case and then just using either kind of the elastic to wrap around the top, top, or in this case, using the magnet. I will say often the magnet doesn't do a great job of keeping it shut, but it is a nice case that feels high-end with kind of the faux leather as opposed to the kind of typical canvas, which we're just kind of used to seeing. It just feels a little bit cheaper, although it may be a little bit more durable. So I would say the cases are a bit of a wash. They're each better in their own different ways, but are both perfectly serviceable with each of these rangefinders. But what are the things that are different, and what's better on the Precision Pro and what's better on the Bluetooth? Okay, let's first talk about the things I like better about the Precision Pro, and that generally comes down to feel, usability, and just kind of the high-end nature of it. So not to say, like, I don't want to say it's high-end. It's not, you're not going to confuse this with like a Bushnell X3, but it's got a nice embossed logo here, whereas the Bluetooth, it almost looks like it was just kind of a sticker that was stuck on. I do like the material of the Bluetooth. It does have this nice kind of texture to it, but there's something about the minimalist nature of the Precision Pro that just feels very sleek, very nice. The buttons are also, or rather the one button and the slope switch is much bigger. It's easier to use, where on the Bluetooth, it's a little bit smaller and the two buttons are a little bit close together. So it's not like it's bad, but if you're asking me which one do I prefer, I generally prefer the one on the Precision Pro. When it comes to optics in the viewfinder, the Precision Pro does feel a little bit higher quality. Oftentimes when I'm comparing rangefinders, I talk about like the field of view. Sometimes it just looks bigger. You look in it and it feels like you can see more. Usually I attribute that to 6x versus 7x magnification. The ones that are 7x generally feel a little bit bigger, and that's usually found on more expensive rangefinders. Both of these are 6x magnification, but I will say when you're comparing them to each other, the Precision Pro does feel a little bit bigger. The optics feel maybe a tad bit clearer, and it's just a more enjoyable experience to use when you are looking through it. One thing about both of these that I feel like is maybe a little bit of a drawback, it could be personal preference, but when you get into higher end rangefinders, when you're talking the Cobalt Q6, when you're talking about the top of the line Bushnell models, they have great flag lock technology. So it's only going to vibrate when it knows it is locked onto a flag, which can give you confidence that you are actually locked onto the flag and not a tree or some other obstacle in the way. Both of these, they pretty much vibrate every time you range any distance. What's nice about this is they both give you a nice tactile sensation. So when you're, ranging a distance, you feel something that kind of helps reinforce the fact that you're getting a distance. But it will do that for every single distance you range. So it doesn't matter if it's locked onto the flag or if it's hitting the tree, you're still gonna get the same vibration with both of these, which would have been nice if they had that kind of flag lock technology so that you're only getting the vibration when you know you're hitting the flag. But I know that is a fairly expensive feature to implement, and so you usually only find that on some more expensive models. All right, so to sum that up, I give the edge as far as usability goes to the Precision Pro. It just feels a little bit better, it looks a little bit nicer, and I prefer the aesthetic a little bit over the Bluetooth Series 3. But that's not to say the Bluetooth doesn't have its pros. There are two features the Bluetooth has that the Precision Pro doesn't. The first of which is a scan mode. So you can hit the scan button here, hold down the trigger, and then actually scan and watch the distance change from target to target. So you can basically go flag, back to the tree, back to the bunker lip. So if you want to easily get distances to a lot of different spots on the golf course, this scan mode is actually pretty useful. That's not to say you can't go over here and just hit the button a number of times to get it, but I found the scanned mode to work pretty well in this case because you don't have that flag lock technology, because you don't know for sure you're hitting the flag, you can easily scan from the flag to the tree and back and forth again to make sure you're getting the right distance. So it's a nice feature to see in a lower priced model. The second thing the Bluetooth has that the Precision Pro doesn't is a backlit red display. So it has an auto ambient display. So depending on how bright it is, the display is going to change from black to red to make the numbers easier to see. Again, this is an expensive feature that we generally only see in higher end models, and when we do see it in cheaper models, it usually affects the display quality, the optical quality. If you have a cheap red display, it just makes everything look kind of cloudy and not as crisp as it should. And so I'm pleased to report that the Bluetooth actually looks pretty good. It's not necessarily as good as the Cobalt, but for a product that's under 250 bucks, I feel like the ambient display is a nice benefit as opposed to something that gets in the way. I also think this goes to show how when companies put out a comparison chart on their website, they tend to skew it in favor of the things that work for them. So no ambient display, no scan mode. That was conveniently left out on that chart we talked about before. So all that to say, which one of these should you buy? This one maybe feels a little bit better. This one has some extra features. The price on both of these is very similar. I'm recording this in the middle of April 2023. And like I said, the prices bounce around quite a bit. The sales on both of these kind of bounce around a little bit. So take this for what it's worth and do your own research. So as of right now, you can get the Precision Pro for $229. That's about the best price I've seen it. Maybe over Black Friday, we saw it get a little bit less than that. But if you can find it for $229, that's kind of the going rate, and that's a good price. The Blue Tees, I think they are currently marketing it for $249, but we have a Breaking 80 coupon code, which I will list below. If you use that, currently that's going to bring it down to $225. So essentially, there's a $4 difference between these two products. So the price is essentially the same. So as for which one you should buy, I think it comes down to what are you looking for? Do you like the idea of an ambient display? Are you playing in foggy and darker conditions a lot? Do you like the idea of the scan mode to try and help some separation between the pin and other obstacles to get a better, faster idea of what your distances are on any given hole? Or do you prefer something that just feels maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit more enjoyable to use, maybe has slightly better optics and a slightly better viewfinder, but doesn't have some of those features? So whichever one you prioritize, that's probably the one you should get. I have played over a dozen rounds with both of these devices, and for the price, they are excellent. They are great. So you're not really going to make a bad choice, and I can't tell you, yes, this one's better, or yes, this one's better, because they are generally very similar and they each have their pros and cons. So whichever one you go with, I think you're going to be happy with the solution. If you held my feet to the fire and said, which one would you use if you had to choose one, I would probably lean towards the Precision Pro. Optics are a big thing for me. Having a wider field of view, being able to easily and more clearly see the targets just makes it that much easier and more enjoyable to use. So I'd probably lean towards this, but honestly, that's just me. You may value different things in your rangefinder experience, and I would highly recommend either of these. So keeping all that in mind, I would also keep your eye on price. It would not surprise me if we saw some bigger sales in the coming months on both of these products. So for instance, if you were to find the Blue Tee Series Max for $200 versus $229, then save the extra $30. This is great, and vice versa. So I think at this point, there's no bad choice. You want to keep an eye on price and just kind of consider what is best for you. Also, are you still not sure which one of these is right for you, or if maybe you should be considering something else? Go over to breaking80.com. There's a link below. I put together a 20-second quiz to help you figure out the best rangefinder for your needs. I literally spent like 2 days working on this thing. I went through like every possible option to make sure that you are finding the right rangefinder for your needs. So I think this quiz is actually going to be super valuable. So if you're still on the fence, if you're still not sure to do, I would go check that out. And with that, my name is Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where we do cool golf product and course reviews. Be sure to hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. And if you have questions about these or any other rangefinders on the market, drop a link below because frankly, I've used most of them. I hope you have an excellent day, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.